Welcome to the 2010 MLG Orlando Bracket Show presented by Old Spice. I'm Sundance D. Giovanni along with D-Mac and Chris Puckett. Now this year we've made a slight adjustment to the bracket format. First off, we've added a round to the championship winners bracket. Teams that go undefeated in the amateur bracket start in winners round 1 of the championship bracket and play seeds 13 through 16. There's no randomization of the bracket this year, but everything else is pretty much the same. Now, since we don't know who is going to advance from the amateur bracket, we're going to move seeds 13 to 16 on to the second round. We don't expect any of our top 6 seeds to struggle in round 2, so we're going to move them forward in the bracket as well. However, the 7th and 8th seeds have 2 great matches for Friday night kickoff, and now the first of those matches is going to be our 8th seed Status Quo versus our 9th seed Heaven and Earth. D-Mac, why don't you start us off?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Heaven and Earth here. When you look at this matchup, I see potential versus experience. Potential on the Status Quo side and experience on the Heaven and Earth side. Heaven and Earth did not look like a good squad towards the end of last season. They made 2 very big pickups in Nated and Clutch. Nated, a game changer, Clutch, a champion. And then when you look at the other side, Status Quo, they arguably picked up the bottom half of Dynasty. Those players weren't as impressive as Destin and a Pure Gangsta. They were still pretty good, and Status Quo should improve. But I'm picking Heaven and Earth here.
You know, I like some of the guys on Status Quo. I love their play style as a team that's using communication and teamwork to overwhelm your opponent, but I don't think that they have enough talent, really, to take out this Heaven and Earth squad. Nated and Clutch are just too much for you, and you know, I expect Karma to have a big presence in this match especially.
Okay, so you guys are both going to go ahead and you're going to say that Heaven and Earth beats Status Quo in this one. I'm going to agree. We'll advance them in the bracket. Now that'll set up our second match of the evening. This is going to be kind of exciting to see because it's the new final boss coming in at the 7th seed versus our 10th seed Darkest Hour. Puckett, why don't you start with this one?
Well, you know, Darkest Hour is kind of just like Status Quo. They have the teamwork, the communication, a little bit of talent here, but not nearly as much as Final Boss. You have to love the addition of Tots to this squad. Finally, we're going to see Final Boss playing aggressive again. Tots is going to be able to do the objective work, he'll do all of the utility work that they need, and you'll finally be able to see Ogre 2, Fear Itself, and Victory X shine in their slaying roles.
Well, ever since Walshy was dropped from Final Boss way back when, you've questioned every decision that they've made since then. But this is the one decision in picking up Tots, a great communication player, a player who plays with the team, who does all the dirty work, a utility player, someone who doesn't want to shine. He's going to bring a different element to the team. Final Boss is going to be a lot more aggressive, a lot more sound, and a lot better at objective gameplay, which is going to improve their gameplay a lot.
All right, well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see whether or not Final Boss is actually going to adopt this aggressive playstyle you both talked about, or if they revert to old tricks. I like Final Boss as well. We're going to advance them in the bracket. Excited to see that new lineup. Now we're going to move down to the first match in round 3. This is going to be our number 1 seed Triggers Down versus our 9 seed Heaven and Earth, who we advanced earlier. D-Mac, what do you think of this?
Well, obviously, you want to choose Triggers Down here. They're the favorite. But you have to not sleep on Heaven and Earth. Guys, they have Nated, they have Clutch. These 2 players have shown that they could go off multiple times during a tournament. They could completely take over a game. If Triggers Down shows that they have any sort of chemistry issues with Neighbor, Heaven and Earth will be there to pounce on it. Clutch is there, he speaks his mind, he gets in people's heads. This could go either or, but I'm going to take Triggers Down.
You know, on paper, you have to love the addition of Neighbor to Triggers Down. They now have 3 of the top 5 Slayers in the league, all on the same team. And, of course, they have the glue, SK, the captain, there as well. I expect Triggers Down to definitely run away with this one if they can get the momentum going early. I think it'll be a 3-1.
All right, guys, we're both taking Triggers Down, and we are going to advance them. But I do think that this could be a more interesting series than we've given credit to right here because, again, Heaven and Earth, with all that experience and that interesting lineup, we'll just have to wait and see. But Triggers Down advances, overpowering Heaven and Earth. Now, our next match in round 3 is going to be between the number 5 seed Believe the Hype and our number 4 seed Instinct. And this is a new Instinct. D-Mac, tell us a little bit about this matchup.
Well, this Instinct has completely changed. They have added Cloud and Elamite Warrior, and they've gotten rid of Neighbor. And now they have Roy and Lunchbox with 2 winners. Cloud just coming off a championship victory, and Elamite Warrior, one of the better strategist players in the game. Now, on the other side, you look at Believe the Hype. They added the 2 better players on Dynasty, a Pure Gangsta and Destin. This team is filled with firepower, almost as much as Triggers Down. They're going to be very dangerous. However, Instinct has them on the teamwork side. Instinct should be able to take care of them. This is going to be a very close matchup, almost a toss-up, but I'm going to go with Instinct here.
D-Mac, this is the match that I am most excited for in the entire winner's bracket. This is my swagger match for Orlando. Now, both of these teams, the 4 seed and the 5 seed, both trying to come into this event. They have something to prove, and you have to love their play style. All 4 members on both teams have incredible battle rifles, and believe the hype, they've been known to pull off the upsets, and so are the second half of that team. The members of Dynasty, a pure gangster, and Destin are perfect fits for this team with their play style. Maniac has become a great leader for Believe the Hype, but on the other side, Instinct has players just to match it. You have Roy and Cloud, 2 of the best battle rifles I saw in all of Orlando, matching up on the same team. Elmite's going to step up as that vocal leader, and Lunchbox will always be there as a solid objective player. This one is going to 5 games. I can't pick a winner. But actually, if I was a betting man, I'd give Believe the Hype the heads up, but it would be 51-49.
All right, so almost too close to call for Puckett, but he ends up giving it to Believe the Hype. D-Mac likes Instinct. I like Instinct based on some of the things I've heard from how they performed at a LAN recently. I think Elamite in the new role of the true leader, not on a team with T2, will let him shine in that role. We're going to have to wait and see if he really steps up, but I'm going to advance Instinct, and that's going to let us set up a first match in the bottom half of the bracket, and this one's going to be an interesting one, guys. We got the number 3 seed Carbon, New Carbon, against number 6 seed Classic. Puckett, why don't you kick this one off?
You know, I have to start off by just saying I am not a fan of any of the moves that Carbon made in the offseason. First of all, they went out and they dropped the Stride Player of the Year in Naded. Naded is the game changer that led Carbon to most of their victories last year. Yes, he is a little bit flaky at times. His playstyle is a little bit different, but it worked on Carbon. There was no reason to drop him. They picked up Strongside in his place. They expect Strongside to fill a similar role. I don't think he can do it. I think he will put up positive numbers, but it won't be what the team needs. And then Best Man replacing Shockwave, it's about an equal fit here. But this Carbon lineup, they've been struggling in the lands, and I don't see them performing very well this tournament. I put them at 7th or 8th in the finals.
And when you look at this Classic lineup, it's quite the opposite. The Classic lineup has looked very impressive, especially in Orlando. Yes, they lost Best Man since Orlando,